we're back to it, and we've actually caught up with any sort of delays in the program here. So well done for everyone working backstage, and thanks all the speakers for being timely. In this last session before our break, we are going to explore Wwise. Wwise might be a little bit intimidating at first to look at, but once you get a hang of it, you can do a lot of cool stuff for your game. And here to take you on a journey through exploring an Unreal project together is Alex Hamparsomian, a freelance sound designer. Welcome on stage.
Tack, Harry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk. So first of all, thank you to Audiokinetic and Damien for giving me this opportunity. I appreciate it. And then I would like to ask my audience here, how many are audio people? Raise your hand. All right, great, that's like 70% of you. How many are game developers? All right, that's also 70% of you. And are there any investors or publishers in the crowd? Nope. All right, too bad. And was there anyone that didn't raise their hand? All right, so now we have all been included. So the title of my talk is Wise, intimidating at first glance until you actually start using it. And here is what I'm talking about today. So first I'll go briefly over my journey as a sound designer, how hard it was for me in the beginning to really understand the role of a sound designer in video games. Then I'll mention how collaborating with others and finding communities really helped out with that. And then I will show an Unreal Engine project that's perfect for getting your hands dirty with audio implementation. And there I will also show Wise and how I approached it. But before we go into all of this, here is a video of some of the highlights from that project. All right. Here are two of the projects that I'm working on right now. First one is called Heartweaver, made by Krakensten Studios. There is a QR code if you want to scan it. And yeah, game is going to be released pretty soon, so very exciting. Then we have Karma and Jonar, made by Glymeria Studios. And it's a very interesting IP because there are 10 children books out, and it has sold for it's over 250,000. There is also this animated series there, which streams on Viaplay and Canal Plus. So now we're making the game for it, and we're currently exploring different partnerships and collaborators. So if that sounds interesting, just send me a message. I'm also the host of the podcast Bellman Historier. And it's this, so there are these Swedish jokes about the character named Bellman. And he basically makes a fool out of himself. So for that one, I'm writing new jokes because I've used all the known jokes that exist. I also narrate, do some voice acting for the different characters, add sounds and music, and it's kind of like my audio playground. So for me, I can test out what story I can tell with sound. But yeah, available everywhere. So a bit my journey. Back in 2017, I was actually a chemist. Yeah, and I figured like, okay, I want to do something else. I had this creative side that wasn't really expressed like I wanted to. So I started with music and sound design, found an education, and I had set up an internship at one of the big game companies in Stockholm. So, but sadly, that got cancelled due to Corona. And I figured like, all right, I guess I'll just have to start freelancing. So, but the problem is that I didn't know anyone in the industry. There were like no events. Everything was just shut down. So what do you do then? And my answer was, all right, I have to learn the game engines, so Unreal and Unity. I have to learn audio middleware, Wwise and Fmod. And for a long time, this was me. So I basically just chugged on my computer in my dark, lonely corner. And I have to say that this was probably not the best approach to it. Because when I had done that for a long time, I was like, all right, time to go out there, put some sounds into games. But I couldn't find any projects at all. It was basically as empty as this slide is. So the way I wish that I had done it was just by finding game jams, starting collaborating with others. Because this, in this way, I could like truly understand like, okay, what's my role in this? And also like working with teams, you grow so much more and faster. And it was way more fun doing this than just, you know, being by yourself. And it also grew my network, which is super important. So when things started opening up again, I just joined every like game dev event I could find, went to conferences, yeah, met people, had a lot of fun. But also like this really led to people recommending me to others. So suddenly I could fill up my blank slide with projects, basically. So I had found this like game dev community. And there is also an audio community that I would like to mention, and it's called Wiggles. Probably a lot of you sound designers in here or audio people know about it already. If you don't, check it out. Basically, it's a lot of people from the audio industry. They are like everyone's there and everyone's willing to like share their knowledge and experience. And as a side note, there is an audio conference that's online, and it's on the 7th of June. So check that out. Gonna be like amazing talks. So what Wiggles also have sometimes is these like events and challenges. And one of those challenges was called the Implement Tournament. And it's basically the project that I'm gonna show. So this project is really perfect for learning audio implementation. If you want to do it like natively in Unreal, or if you want to use an audio middleware, that's really up to you. But I really wish that I had like this project when I started out, because it would have been like a way smoother ride. Also with the community behind it, like you could ask questions and everything. So yeah, it's just great. And here are two of the peoples that made it possible. So John and Avishai. So great people, and big thanks to them. Avishai is also open for work, so check out his page and send him a message. So the challenge is you implement your own game audio into this custom-made video game. You fly through space shooting asteroids, and you boost for maximum speed. Avishai made a great video of just explaining how do the different custom events work. We have some variables that you can see on the side here. So basically, your task is to find out, like, okay, how do I use these events, and what values do the variables have? And with that, you can then start creating like really cool audio. And yeah, the way I approached it is basically setting up a lot of print strings to learn how do the custom events work, which values do we get out from the variables. I should also mention that this project is very slimmed down, because usually when you look at a blueprint, it's something more like that. And this is actually pretty well structured, but yeah, it's maybe a bit harder to like realize or finding out, like, okay, where do I put my audio in here? But usually there is like a programmer who has made this, and you can ask them if you have any troubles. But yeah, with all the print strings that we did, you can see here in the top corner that we get some numbers out. So we basically play the game, and we write down what's happening. So we can see, like, okay, we have some shots here when you shoot. We also have this forward speed, and you can see a number here that goes up to 12,000. And we know that, okay, that's our maximum speed then. We also have a boosting event, which we will see now. And then we realize, like, okay, our maximum speed is actually going up to 25,000. And we write this down, and we started to think, like, okay, what can we do with it? You can also crash into asteroids. So here we see, and we get like a collision force number or impact. And then you crash into more asteroids and get some more numbers. And you start to learn how does the game work? What am I working with for different numbers? I also set up a system so I can calculate the distance to the asteroids, because you can shoot them and blow them up. So I wanted to know, like, how far away is the maximum distance. And yeah, after you have all that, yeah, I chose Wwise for this. And if you don't know Wwise, it's basically an audio middleware, and you put all your sounds and like game parameters and everything in there, and then you hook it up to the game engine. So hook it up to the Unreal code, basically, in this case. Reason why I chose Wwise for this was because I hadn't used it for a while, and I wanted to like get reacquainted with it again. And this is how Wwise looks like if you haven't seen it before. And there's a lot going on here. It can be quite overwhelming, and I know that a lot of sound designers and composers, they feel this when they first open it up. I know I did when I first started out. And you might go like, okay, what is this thing up here? What do all these tabs do? What are these buttons? What's an actor mixer? You say, okay, there's a help box here, but when you read through the text, you don't really understand anything. You have something that's live, but not connected. How do I use that? We have even more tabs. And how does all of this work? This is also something. And we have more buttons. Then we actually have an audio meter. Perfect, I know how to use that. But we have more tabs until you actually realize this is the same window, and so we can forget about that. But my point here is that it's very intimidating to work in Wwise, especially when you're new. And Audio Kinetic is very well, they are aware of this. So I actually got this screenshot from Damien, and they are trying to make it more user-friendly. But I haven't tried this version enough, so I don't know if they're succeeding, but maybe we should all just have a go at it and send them some feedback. The good thing about Wwise is that they have this amazing learning platform. So there are like some courses you can take, there are some sample projects, and you can really like take it step by step and learn there. And I did this during this stage of my life. So I went through these like Wwise fundamentals and the Cube project. But I remember that I felt like something was missing. So basically what you did there was you designed your audio and you put it into Wwise and you named it correctly, and then it just worked inside of this Cube game. But you never like understood how to set up the events, which is why this implement tournament is so good, because here you actually get to experience every step of the way, so you get the full scope of it. And the way I approached Wwise, I thought like, okay, let's just take it step by step. Start simple, and then progressively you try something that's harder. And the simplest thing I could think about was, okay, we have some laser shots, and you shoot a lot in this game, so we're going to need variations for that. So I did some variations, set them up in a random container, and basically it just picks up, like chooses one of these sounds randomly. So when you're shooting lasers, it's not as repetitive, basically. And we can also see then how I hooked it up in Unreal. After that, I wanted to do something that was a bit trickier or harder. And you remember that we had this forward speed. So when you move forward with your spaceship, we got this value of 12,000 and then 25,000 as the maximum velocity. So we set up a game parameter for it that goes from 0 to 25,000. And then I thought that, okay, I'm going to modulate the pitch on it. So when we reach a value that's above 12,500, we start raising the pitch until we reach the maximum. And this really like enhances the sensation of speed and acceleration. So I did this for the looping sound that we have. And here it's also set up in Unreal. And I also added some one-shots to this. So when you start the engine and when you start boosting, and also when you stop, which we will hear now. All right, moving on. We had this collision force when you crash into the asteroids. We got some values from the print strings there, and I thought like, okay, what should I try in Wwise now? And I know that we have these switches, and normally what you would use like switches for, like a common example would be footsteps and different surface material. So basically, if the player walks on wood, grass, or rock, the sound changes. But there is no spacewalking inside of this game, sadly. So I thought, like, okay, let's use these collisions, the impacts, and let's make some soft, medium, and hard variations. So down here, you can see that if we have a value from 0 to like 1,000, we're going to hear the soft ones. Then from 1,000 to 15,000, we're going to hear medium ones. And 15,000 and up, we're going to hear the hard ones. But in the end, I actually just did soft and hard ones, but I don't remember why. Maybe I just forgot to like design the medium ones. So yeah. And we also hook it up in Unreal. And it sounds like this. And then we had this the distance to the asteroids. So when you shoot at asteroids and they blow up, I like learned that the maximum distance to an asteroid is 250,000. So I set up a game parameter for that. And in this case, I wanted to test some blend containers. So basically, if you have like different sounds and you want them to blend, so you have this cross-fading section, which we see here, you're going to start hearing like both sounds inside of this. So it's like a seamless transition. So we have our near explosions and our far away explosions, and then it just, yeah, you will see. And I also added this low-pass filter. So things that are far away and exploding far away, we're gonna cut off the high frequencies. So we're gonna get like a rumble and yeah. I also added some voice modulation. So stuff that are very far away is gonna be lower in volume when they explode. And we also have this initial delay. So again, if things blow up very far away, it's going to take a while for the sound to actually reach the player. And I thought that, okay, that would be like a cool effect. Right, the asteroids also have like health points. So they need like 2 or 3 shots to actually explode. And I did the same there, set up some other sounds. And here we can have a listen. So now we're going to start hearing both explosion sounds. And now they are lower in pitch, and the volume is also lower. Take a look at when I'm pressing play, and you will like see the delay. As a final thing, I added some ducking into the game. So normally, you know, you can hear ducking. Let's say you have dialogue in a game, and that's very important for the player to hear. So you basically just lower the volume of everything else. So for this project, I decided like, okay, when you're boosting, we should lower the sounds for the weapons, so for the lasers. Because I started thinking like, okay, if this was a real game, what do I want the player to experience and feel? Since when you're boosting, you probably want to go somewhere really fast, or something is chasing you, so maybe enemies or yeah. So the engine should be really in focus. Also the visual effects for when you're boosting, it's like amazing. You see like stars and stuff flying by. So yeah, I really wanted to put emphasis onto that. Same thing with explosions. So then we're gonna lower the engine and the laser volume. So I wanted the player to really feel like explosions happening nearby, especially if they're like in a battle scene or something like that. And lastly, I added something that when you crash into the asteroids, we're just going to lower the engine sounds. So kind of giving feedback that, hey, this is not the way you drive a spaceship. And here we go, final video. So, some conclusions. Wwise is not that hard. If you just break it down, take it like step by step, start easy, and it becomes less intimidating. You start to understand, like, okay, what do all the tabs do and the buttons? You know, how is everything connected? And also, this implement tournament is the perfect project if you want to learn more about it, of audio implementation, or if you want to learn a middleware. And especially with the audio community that's behind it. So this project is available on Airwiggles, and I can highly recommend like everyone trying it out. And yeah, here are some contact information. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I always, look for future projects and collaborations. And I also made a more in-depth video on my web page, ahasounds.com. So if anyone is interested, you can check it out there. And again, thanks to Audiokinetic and Damien. And also, as a final thing, I will probably go to the local climbing center here one of these days. And if you're into it, just join with me. That would be fun. Yeah, I see one there already. Perfect. Yeah, okay. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex, for the very informative talk. I love the hands-on approach. Hopefully you've all been getting a lot of good knowledge on how you yourselves can navigate Wwise in Unreal. Are there any questions from the audience? Is everything crystal clear? Are there any choices made that you're wondering? Okay, we have a question here.
Hey, could you just, since you were experiencing Wwise through the first period, but also for this, what would you say is the biggest hurdle for you getting into Wwise, or for someone else getting into Wwise? What's the hardest part to get a grasp on, except for the layout things, because those are obviously first, maybe?
Yeah, I think for me, since when I began with it, I went through the courses that they had, but I didn't really get the, I don't know, I just did stuff and followed whatever they said, and it didn't give me this sense of hey, I'm actually putting some sounds into games and figuring out things on my own. And I think that if you want to use Wwise, you really need your own project in a way, and just start doing some connections. And then after a while, you will start to understand it, basically. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Thanks.
Cool. More questions from the audience. Going once, going twice. And that's it. Big applause again for Alex.
Thank you.
The audio program that's been going on this morning will from now on continue in the Gallerian room. Unfortunately, it will not be live streamed. If you go there, you'll learn a little bit about how you can create voice for a companion AI in Star Wars Outlaws. You'll learn how you can add text-to-speech to your games, and a couple of indie hacks and tricks that you could add to your game, as well as more about composing music. In this stage, we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back at 2 with the game director from Blizzard on World of Warcraft. So don't miss that one. See you guys soon.